Um, Very tempted to take the siege perk. In fact, I think I will. Okay. Infrastructure. Economy, rather. Looking to see what gets unlocked here. Local build time. Okay. Trade practices don't really need. Improved keeps. Hmm. 978. If I wait a little bit, I could increase castle infrastructure, which is the one that I want to get the highest, even though because it increases my castle tax. This next level doesn't unlock a new building that I would use, but the final level, 8, does unlock Castle Town 6, which I would want to build in all my castles because it increases tax income even more. So I think I'll just actually hold off there. And then culture advances. I could do popular customs, which increases city vassal opinion, or legalism, which unlocks absolute crown authority and centralized. I think I might wait here too. It would be useful to have majesty, tolerance, religious customs, or noble customs first, I think. What the hell? Let's do city vassal opinion. Sure. Okay. What a feast. That feast was to celebrate the conquering of Greece, of course. I wonder if the King of Greece is going to get away with some of these duchies that he's pulling in. I've always liked the geography of the Mediterranean. This is getting very map dorky here. I've always liked maps. I'll say that. I've always liked maps. And I've always liked the geography of the Mediterranean, having read a lot about the Greeks and the Romans and the Holy Land and North Africa and Spain. Just generally liking that geography, that area, and the history of that area. I've always liked the Mediterranean because it is strangely geographically neat, and by neat I mean like tidy and kind of perfect. You know, it's very lateral. It's very east-west. You know, so no matter where you are in North Africa, you're kind of in the same climate throughout. No matter where you are in Southern Europe, you're kind of in the same climate. I mean, Greece and Italy basically have the same climate, roughly, same as Anatolia. Holy Land, very similar. You know, there's the same, you know, olives and Mediterranean food, right? Like, it's not just Greek food, it's not just Italian food, it's not just Palestinian food. There's a lot of similarities. Hummus and couscous and lamb and falafel and all that. So I always kind of liked. There's just so many aspects of it, and then the geography itself, you can divide it pretty much in half on the Italian peninsula. So you have Western Mediterranean and Eastern Mediterranean. They're about evenly sized. I don't know. It's very neat, and it's got choke points at both ends. You've got Gibraltar on one side and the Bosphorus on the other, which is kind of perfect. You got all these little Greek islands. I mean, the Greek mainland and islands set anybody that lived in Greece up perfectly for seafaring culture. Likewise, Italy was enough of like a little, what's the word? Almost like a petri dish for a culture like the Romans to kind of grow without being harassed too terribly by anybody else. I mean, I guess the Greeks did have colonies throughout the Italian peninsula, but Rome could grow in power on its own little kind of petri dish of a peninsula and not be harassed at all by anybody in the mainland because of the Alps, for instance. And then they had some kind of choice pickings around them once they started to become a power on the peninsula. They had Illyricum, what we call now the Balkans. They had Near Gaul, southern... Well, I guess these weren't really Germanic territories back then. I don't know what culture of people were known to live in the Eastern Alps at the time, but Corsica and Sardinia, Sicily. I guess Sicily was Greek at the time. But yeah, it kind of set the stage for Rome to become a local power first, peninsular power, and then because they became a peninsular power, they became a Mediterranean power, and then once they were a Mediterranean power, they went up against Carthage, and up against the Greeks, and up against Egypt. Obviously they fought against the Gauls on the mainland and everything, but in terms of how their development went, the fact that they were where they were in the Mediterranean, like right smack dab in the middle of the Mediterranean, and having all of Italy to themselves, kind of, as once they were strong enough to take control of it, played a huge factor, I think, in their power and their growth. I don't know. The Mediterranean is just a perfect little... I keep using the word petri dish, but it is. It's just a perfect little test tube for the development and smashing together of really neat civilizations. And I don't just mean the Greeks and the Italians. I mean the Iberians and the Carthaginians and heck, even the Israelites, the Palestinians, the Phoenicians there, the Egyptians. I guess it doesn't technically count as the Mediterranean, but you could count all the cultures that lived on the Black Sea, the Parthians. What was the king? The Poison King. What was his name? Can't think of his name. Crassus, one of the triumvirs, went off and fought him and ended up getting his ass kicked. What was his name? Started with an M. Damn it. I can't think of it. It was one of the major series of wars right during the first triumvirate when Pompey and Caesar and Crassus were all rolling around. I can't think of his name. Crap. Well, somebody that has a fresher mind than me can remind me. But anyway, he was up here somewhere. He wasn't one of the Parthians though. He was somebody else. He was the king of... God damn it, why can't I think of it? I will Google it after I'm done with this recording session, and I'll tell you guys, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I knew that was that. That was him. Mithridates. The Mithridatic Wars. That's right. I can't remember what kingdom he was the leader of, but yes, Mithridates was up here in the Black Sea area. So yeah, just it's awesome. You can go from Gibraltar and you can get to the Danube from Gibraltar and go all the way up into Central Europe. That's just crazy. That's Europe and the Mediterranean and North Africa and the Levant and Anatolia. And even hell up into the Crimea, into the Caucasus. All this area was accessible to the classical world that we think of when we know about written history of Europe and North Africa. You could get to all that shit. You could be a raider living on Dover, and you could sail a ship down the coast, and you could go, in your lifetime. You could... I don't know how many people did. You could go anywhere in the continental area of Europe and North Africa and southwestern Asia, and you could get there in your lifetime rather easily by that day's standards. And it's all facilitated by the Mediterranean, basically. It's really cool. I have been... I'm on a long digression here. I'm sorry, everyone. I have been myself to Spain and to Morocco. Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. So I've been on the Iberian Peninsula, which is cool. And I've been to Morocco. And when I was in Morocco, I took a train from... Let me think. Train from Tangier to Marrakesh, I think, which is... I can't think where Marrakesh is. Oh, like right, yeah, I was going to say right around here. Yeah, it's right here. So I didn't quite go deep into the Atlas Mountains, which of course is the mountain range that runs along northern Africa. But we did ride a bus from Marrakesh to a town called Ouarzazate, which is kind of like down here-ish, which you do have to ride through the Atlas Mountains to get to. It's basically like right on the edge of the Sahara Desert. And so we were riding this bus, and it was winding up and up and up and up and up a mountain road, and then it kind of came to a peak, a pass, and then it wound down and down and down the other side, and then into the desert. And it was just a crazy feeling to be somebody who read all kinds of geography and mythology books and history books when I was younger. Even still, I do. At this age, I do. But having read like Edith Hamilton mythology, Greek mythology, when I was a kid, which of course took place mostly over here, but there are stories of, Heracles and the 12 labors, and having to go, he had to go get some, what did he have to get? I forget what one of his 12 labors was. It was to retrieve something, and he realized he couldn't get it himself, so he went to Atlas and told Atlas, hey, I'll hold the world, I'll hold the sky up for you for a little while you go get this thing for me. And Atlas is like, hey, no problem, because as soon as he got the sky onto Heracles' shoulders, he basically didn't plan to come back. Like, he came back and he's like, hey, I got the thing for you, but I'm not going to take the sky back on my shoulders. You can just keep it. And Heracles, of course, ends up tricking him in the stupidest way possible. He says, oh, okay, well, here, you take it for just a second, let me get adjusted so that I'm totally ready to carry it for the rest of my existence. And Atlas, being a dumbass, goes, okay, and takes it for a second, and Heracles goes, thanks, and then grabs whatever it was that he had to take and runs off with it. I think it was like a fleece or something. And that sounds like Jason and the Argonauts, so I don't know. I thought it was a fleece. Or I don't remember. Anyway, the idea that I was riding a bus through the mountain range that Heracles, in some time in the mythological past, had come to speak to Atlas himself, just felt cool. It's just cool. I don't know. Being an American, being a North American, and not being exposed on a regular basis to any of those old world locations that you hear about in stories that are thousands and thousands of years old. It's a very cool experience to go there and see that. Some of you who live in Europe, perhaps, or the UK, might not be quite as blown away to be in a location like that where those old stories come from, but for me personally, when I was riding through the Atlas Mountains, all I could think of was, holy shit, these are named after a god, a titan, that has been in stories I've heard about since I was a kid. The story's been around for thousands of years. That's neat. Alright, that was, what was that, 10 minutes maybe I just talked about that crap? Talked about the Mediterranean and all that stuff. Anyway, hopefully you guys can relate. I imagine if you're watching this, you must have some love of Europe or the Mediterranean in general, and history. So I imagine that maybe that wasn't quite as dull to you as it would have been to your average viewer of LPs. I hope not. And I appreciate that you guys sat through it, if you did in fact sit through it, and aren't just landing here on this timestamp because you skipped ahead thinking, okay, when does he shut the fuck up? Right. Vigoric Chatenois is now of legal age. He became a scholarly theologian. Well, this is my grandson. Oh, these are your traits. What am I? I'm a scholarly theologian, right? No, I'm a mastermind. You couldn't even match your grandfather's skills in theology, huh? Okay, well, this has probably not been applied because it's not typically been applied in the past. So that means this is going to be a 12. This is going to be a 3. And this is going to be a 4. God damn, this family are... Oh, and you're a lunatic. When did that happen? When did you become a lunatic? What? mother was... Oh, she was pneumoniac. She was not a lunatic. She was a freaking genius. I guess the difference between genius and lunatic is just a flip of the coin, isn't it? Ugh. Oh my god, you're the first in line for the throne, you bastard. Alright. Oh, Jesus. Let's get you married. Heir to the throne of the Imperial Palace. Looks a lot like his dad, who looks somewhat like me. Now wait a minute, why is it still saying Dietrich is my son? That should not be the case. Maybe Vigoric... What? Why is it listing him as my son? That doesn't make any sense. Sorry, as my heir. It makes sense that he lists as my son. He should not be my heir, though, right? Because he joined the Knights something or other. I know that he did. When did he do that? Surely it should have updated by now. Oh, whatever. I'm done trying to figure this game out. No very good alliances to be had. Let's just go for good traits, huh? Boy. Because you need it. Your traits are terrible. Terrible. Okay, how about Rotislava? 6, 11, 17, 3, and 11. 5, 6, 18, 1, and 13. Yeah. You also get to marry a Russian. Negative 200 from marrying a relative of a count. You know what? That's fine. You need a wife. You lousy, lousy grandson. Vigoric, what the hell, man? You even got the ambitious trait. It didn't do you a damn bit of good. To the diligent Kaiser Sigismund, blessings upon you and your house. I accept your suggestion that Vigoric and Rotislava get married. Good. Better not turn me down. Alright, I'll play to the end of this year, and that'll be the end of this play session. My Kaiser, I am pleased to report that the majority of the population in Limassol has been converted to the Catholic faith. Your humble vassal, Bishop Udalric of Arsinoa. Good. Well done. I love seeing Greece and the Empire. I just need to outlast that. Oh, right. Outlast the truce, I was going to say, but also... Poland. I have a claimant to Poland, don't I? What the hell do I give him? No? I could build him a new holding. Could build a new holding for 700 gold, and it would take like a year, more than a year. It would take like 2 years. Okay, let's build a castle. Should have started this a while ago. Building a castle in Verdun, and the intent is we will give that to Borsilov, whatever. What's his name? Borziwolj. He's 43. I hope he survives. Sabor of Greece has created the title Duchy of Samos. Very good. I hope you give him away. Whoa! Children like your guardian. What? Alberada. Kinswoman. Okay. Sure. Fine. Technological advances, I can use... Ooh! Yes, I was waiting, right? I was waiting to do this. Castle infrastructure. That's what I will do. Yes. And then what's this? Where are the vassal levies? Oh, they're still counting down from the last time they were raised. Okay. Titles of duchies can be created. De jure ducal claims. Yes, I can't do that right now. Unlanded sons. That's fine. And 18 titles. I'm going to ignore that. Okay. Right. And the retinue is slowly building up. Okay, so once that new holding is built, which, where does it tell me where that's at? Build it in Verdun? Where did I build it? Built it in Verdun, didn't I? I spent the gold, certainly. Where does it? I thought it told me here. But it doesn't. Money continues to flow through the trade post in Nicomedia, but your relationship with the merchant family that owns it has soured. To teach them a lesson without going to war, you could arrange for a mob to burn it down. I'm kind, ain't no way. No, things could escalate out of control, says Kaiser Sigismund the Great. Which I'll never get tired of reminding you that I am called. Yes, one more month. One more month till 1335. God, this LP's been going on forever. It's been over a year. It's been, God, what is this, 143, 44 episodes, something like that? 45 or 46 now, probably. We're going to be close to 200 episodes before this is over, because we have more than 100 years to go yet. Oh, and I'm way past my January 1st stop point. Prince Wilhelm of the Holy Roman Empire. My son, Prince Wilhelm, is now of legal age. He became a dutiful clerk. Your traits are somewhat okay. Dutiful cleric, I'm sorry. Nothing interesting for, alliances, which was the same as it was last time. Prince Wilhelm, are you very close in line? No, it's Dietrich, then Vigoric, then Fulcard. What the hell? Let's bring in a nice Swedish girl, shall we? Yeah, why not? We'll do that. Yeah, there we go. Marry a Swedish girl. Okay, dutiful cleric. Alright. Anyway, that, everyone, is the end of this play session. What do we do this time? What is this? Raiders. God damn. Raiders. Well, we'll tackle the Raiders next time. What do we do this time? We conquered Greece by virtue of a holy war that we contributed the most soldiers to. And that was really kind of it, actually. We invited a Pole to our court who is a claimant on the Kingdom of Poland. Once we finish building a holding in our counties, we will give it to him and then press his claim, assuming he doesn't die between now and then. We will also look for opportunities to take pieces out of what's remaining of the Byzantine Empire, but that's tricky because we're in a truce with them until 1341. That may be a fight that our heir and son, Prince Dietrich, who should not be our heir, will have to undertake. I'm not sure how he's our heir, but anyway, that's what we will need to tackle next time. I think, perhaps, we'll see. Let's take a look at the map. Portugal, Castile, Aragon, about the same. France is still there. Logir is still there. Ireland, Scotland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, all look about the same. Maybe Denmark's expanded a little bit. Poland and the eastern territories of Europe look the same. Big change there. Mali Almoravids. Riadids are gone. Fatimids are very strong still, as we learned when they kicked our ass for Jerusalem. Ilkhanate's still very strong as well. India's still a mess. Golden Horde still sitting in stasis. I had someone comment, I don't remember who it was, I'm sorry, because it was a very useful comment. But they said, they told me that they thought that the Golden Horde only really spread out if they were fighting against other cultures and or religions, and since the Ilkhanate was so successful and was a Mongol and Tengri religion, that the Golden Horde probably would not spread out that much because they would be fighting against their own kind, so they would just kind of be content to sit there. Which seems like a programming area. It seems like the programming error, rather. It seems like the Golden Horde should just expand no matter who's in their way. But I'm fine with it because the Golden Horde would kick my ass. I share a border with the Ilkhanate on one county. I would share it with more than one if I had all of Hungary here. But yeah, they would have gotten to me certainly by now if they were as aggressive as they're supposed to be. So happy accident in my favor. While I'm looking, any claimants to France? I could have claimants to France join me. Ooh, okay. Mental note, Pam, that's something to look for too. Logier? Nobody would say yes. Alright. France and Poland will be targets next time then. We'll deal with that in our next play session. Until then, everyone, take care. I will see you around, and long live House Chatenois.